Let's now talk about the scope and some emerging themes of English as an international language. Researchers, teachers, and learners need to realize the importance of English as an international language and emerging themes related to this variety of language if they really want this variety to prosper in coming years. They could focus on broadening the scope of English as an international language and its paradigm by emphasizing and highlighting the communicative effectiveness of this variety in international communicative situations. At the same time, they will also have to demystify the myths about the superiority of native varieties of English language. For example, this is commonly believed that native varieties are accepted universally and they are well equipped to meet the needs of international communication in various situations. Well, the data coming from various studies do not support this proposal. Rather, we see that non-native users of English in various international situations do not follow native norms when they communicate to the people of other cultures. Therefore, this assumption seems to be baseless. In coming years, we could assume that there could possibly be a norm which would be international in nature and would be based on English as an international language. We could also expect that such neutral variety in the coming years would facilitate people communicating in various spheres of professional, academic, and social lives. And in such a variety, we could see that British and American varieties may be considered as one of the local dimensions or local aspects of this international neutral variety. Many researchers have already suggested some labels for such possible international variety. For example, standard English variety for international speakers, or international or global English. In such a variety, it is the communication strategies or negotiation strategies which have the central role to play. It's not about the norms of the center or native speakers which have to be followed in such a variety. Rather, it's the emergent values which the users of English as an international language would negotiate during their communication. Some researchers even believe that the grammar of such a language would also be emergent. That means it will be negotiated and would emerge during the discussion of interlocutors. And in such a situation, center will not be the Anglophone countries. Rather, it would be the negotiation strategies which would dominate all developments in English as an international language in a near future. In such a scenario, the researchers might also focus on the teaching of pragmatics in English as an international language, because that would bring into light the hybridity of the different communicative behaviors of the users of English across the world. So pragmatics probably would take the center of teaching English as an international language. There is another issue which the researchers on EIL might have to look into in coming years, and that is the issue of culture conceptualizations. While communicating in an international setting, the interlocutors might rely on the conceptualizations of their own native language. Therefore, the researchers would have to identify those communicative strategies which would help the speakers and the listeners to deal with such conceptualizations. And they have to ensure through certain strategies that such conceptualization may not affect a fluent international communication between people from various nations. We have seen that previously it was the norm of the center or the cultural values and pragmatics of the people living in native English speaking countries that were thought to be appropriate in various interactional situations. But as we are talking about the development of English as an international language, we also have to see about such norms which are useful for the speakers from various parts of the world. And we might look into developing new norms of pragmatics or communicative behavior in coming years. Some of the questions which would also attract researchers' attention in the field of English as an international language in the coming years include: can English be adopted or indigenized to reflect on the local cultures of its speakers? Similarly, we also need to think, then, can English be adapted to transfer the local knowledge of its speakers? Well, these are very serious questions. And if English as an international language could answer to such questions, there are many chances that it would prosper in a quick time.